Yes, welcome to another episode of Mr. Z and Fifth with your host, Zach Kears and the Fifth General. What's going on, Zach Kears?
Hey, it was good. Good to be here. Good to be here.
How we always start the show.
Yes. Yeah.
So last week, we had a very interesting subject. Very interesting. The soft girl era, soft guy era, drizzle, hashtag drizzle, verse hashtag sprinkle. So that was a very, very interesting topic.
Yes.
Staying on the male to female relationship topic, but this time going more to things that people actually deal with. And that is, as people see on the title, for those who are watching it on YouTube, I want that old thing back. Now that's slang. That's a song that Biggie did with Ja Rule, but on the Duets album, I mean, the Duets album is where I get the inspiration of the title from. But that's also a saying, even prior to that song. You know what I'm saying? And that was about going back to your old ex or going back to somebody you missed, somebody that you may have had a relationship with or a situationship with.
Yeah.
So, but what are the reasons why, right? Some may be genuine, but then there's things that are very disingenuous. Like, for instance, when someone is with you and then they feel that, you know what, I can do better than you. And then you depart, as you should when somebody says that to you, right? Yeah. But then they come back.
Okay, yeah.
Should you take them? Should you accept them? Should you not? In that situation.
Right.
And then there's situations where some people mutually split because they feel that it's not the time. And they feel that we've both have grown in this separation.
Yes.
And then that now it's time to revisit it again. So there's a positive and a negative to getting back with an ex.
Right.
So we'll dive into all of that throughout this program.
Okay.
I called the cavalry. I wanted our brother back on the show because he did so good the last time, his first time on our show. Yeah. And I enjoyed his takes.
Yes.
I enjoyed his perspectives and his experience.
Yes.
So coming back to the show, our brother Ray.
Hey, gentlemen.
How's it going?
Man, it's great to be back. Thank you, Zacchaeus. Thank you, Fifth. Yeah, it's great to be back home.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
And I mean that in so many ways.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm honored. I'm honored because the last time you were on our show, you gave a point of view that me and Zacchaeus did not have. So it added to the substance of the program. Oh. So I respected that.
Well, thank you.
All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let our guests go first. I know you heard everything we talked about backstage. So I would like to ask this question. What are the pros and cons to getting back with an ex? You can name the pros first and the cons second, or any order you would like to, right?
Okay, well, although it depends on, it depends on the severity of the turmoil in the relationship or marriage. And it depends on certain factors. I will say this. That's where the pros and cons come in the sense where sometimes you may embark on a relationship or a few dates to see if the growth potential is there for a future, but it may not be the right time because individually and respectively, you may have stuff going on in your life that won't permit you to pursue that fulfilling relationship. And then there are times where it's like you have this relationship and the pros and cons in being one occur where the cons make you just want to throw it away and withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
As far as returning to that type of relationship, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can work because I don't know if you're aware of this, but Judge Judy and her current husband, they almost broke up. But then they talked it out. Yeah, Judge Jerry and Judge Judy, they almost broke up, but then they talked it out, and they did a renewal of their wedding vows. And as Judge Judy jokes, although it was serious, Judge Judy jokes said when they were doing their vows again, the part where the preacher said for better or for worse, Judge Judy said she interrupted him and said, for better or forget it.
Wow.
The point she was trying to make was that, they had their share of whatever toxicity existed. And her thing was by doing that was that this time when we're going to embark, we have to be mutual and in one accord. Although not perfect, we can't repeat the same toxic stuff that led us to this point. So her thing was, if we're going to do it again, we have to do it with a fresh, different mindset and not repeat what caused the potential breakup in the first place. So that's why she said what she said when they renewed their vows. So I would say it depends on the severity of what caused the breakup, and timing may have a lot to do with it, but you both have to do the best you can to be on one accord. And I need to emphasize, one accord does not mean you two are robots. You two are human beings. You will not agree on everything, but the goal should be the growth, and the goal should be peace and treating the other the way you would want to be treated. And if you go based on that, then there's a chance that there will be pros if you decide to return. But if it's the same thing all over again, then it was a waste. And that's why most people, they think twice about going back unless they miss the toxicity.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah.
Well said.
Well said. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Zacchaeus. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. Zacchaeus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you kind of a different question.
Okay.
So Ray mentioned the pros and the cons from multiple perspectives, right?
Yes.
And it's kind of what me and you talked about before we started the show.
Mm-hmm.
What should someone do when they accept or deny that person who comes back? And I'm gonna be fair and ask Ray the same thing, but I'm gonna ask you first, Zacchaeus.
Well, what should they do if they
accept the person,
mm-hmm.
and second, if they deny the person, because there's going to be a cause and effect to both decisions.
Oh, yes.
That you allow for your life. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. It depends. Well, you know what? I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you want, because we have choices to make, right? Now, you can allow somebody to come into your life, and it could be an asset to your life, if you know what I mean by asset, or just add on to your life, meaning that they complement you. But if that person is giving you stress, and you don't feel, there's people that are a couple, right? There's people that because you let them go, it's like a relief off your shoulders. If you know what I mean, like a relief off your shoulders, right? Mm-hmm. They're a relief off your shoulders. That is not a burden. They're not a burden on your shoulder. They're a relief off your shoulders, right? And there's people that, because of a misunderstanding and a miscommunication, you let them go. But God didn't tell you to let them go, but you just let them go because it was just not the right timing. Remember, there's a time and season for everything, right? Mm-hmm. And it was just not the right timing that y'all supposed to get together. On that sense, right? But on the other side, let's say if that person add on to you, they add on stress to you. That person, you can't even stay 5 minutes in a room with them. That person, the only thing you got going with that person, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna say it, is the sex. That's it. It's good. That's it. Yeah. But other than that, that's it. That's all y'all connect on. So when it comes to when y'all converse, is an uncomfortability, and you feel the tension in the room. Even when you come around because remember, when you're with somebody, sometimes their family is around, right? And because the family sees it, the family see that, well, this person is no good for you. You always in a battle every time I see you with this person. So in a way, it was good that you let that person go, because it releases the heaviness of your shoulders, that weight, that weight of stress off your shoulders. And life is short. Who wants all that stress in your life? Who wants all that argument and bickering and arguing and toxicity all in your life? But when you're alone but when you're alone, all of a sudden now you feel a relief, like you can breathe again. And that person, if you feel that way that I just described, that person, you should never, unless you love yourself. Remember, you got to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you should never. Remember, time is precious. Time is precious. And we're getting older. Nobody's getting younger, right? If you're in your 30s or 40s and 50s, you're not getting younger. That is it for you. You should never let nobody bring in toxicity to your life. They just take away that peace element. And now, all of a sudden now, and they're thinking about coming. There's people that you'll break up with them for let's say, and sometimes we're human beings. We forget why we broke up with them, right? We forget sometimes we like, oh, but when you meet them, it all comes back like, oh, there's a reason why I can't be with this person. There's a reason why you broke up with them in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But us men, sometimes we let's face it. Sometimes some of us, not all of us, some of us, we don't like toxicity. We love our peace. But some men, they're a glutton for punishment. Why? Because they can't get enough of I'm gonna say the word punani. Yep. Can't get enough of it. We love it. She looks good. She's still looking good, and you want it. You remember how she used to make you feel when you was in bed with her. But if that's all you got that's the only reason why you're going back, you're wasting your time. You are wasting your time. Wasting your time because you know why you're wasting your time? Because you're blocking that blessing. And why are you blocking that blessing? Because of the way how she makes you feel physically. Why are you blocking the blessing? Because you never know. Some of us are meant to be single. Some of us are meant to be single, but some of us are not. Some of us, God has somebody in store for us, but we just blocking the blessing because we're thinking about letting this person back in. All of a sudden now this person is calling you. All of a sudden it's a calling you, and sometimes that could be the devil calling you.
Mm-hmm.
That could be. She could be a person of what do you call it? She could be your demise. You know many stories you hear of somebody coming. All of a sudden now you was doing good, and all of a sudden now she's calling you, she's texting you, and now you're like, and now she's talking about getting back with you. But you remember the time you have to go back to the time when y'all the reason why y'all broke up and how the blowout you had and the cops being called. If you can't remember that, something's wrong with you. Just remember all the toxic and drama you went through with this person. And now she wants to get back. Oh no. Like my father would say, run for the hills and don't look back.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Ray, Zacchaeus is talking about post-sex clarity.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to add to that, Ray?
Well,
I mean, that's basically his premise. His premise is you broke up with the people, you got back with them when really you got back with them for the access to sex. Then after the sessions, right? Mm-hmm. Then you realize, man, she still got that. She still won't shut up. She still got a nasty attitude. She still got all these things that made us break up with. Yeah. But he's saying a man or a woman will realize that after the sexual acts. So he's referring to a post-sex clarity kind of epiphany that men and women get when they get back with each other. You have any more to add to that, or around that?
Well, Zacchaeus asked a question in his delivery, talking about who would want to go back to toxicity and everything. I have the answer for that. The people who want to go back to that toxicity, they're called masochists.
Ooh.
These are people who thrive off pain. They thrive off garbage. They thrive off either receiving havoc or creating the havoc. You have to understand something, and I can't emphasize this enough. Not everybody wants peace. Not everybody desires peace. Mm-hmm. There are people who thrive off chaos, which is a big reason why they go back. And so it's not restricted to just, sex being the foundation, which is a very weak foundation. But no, there's just some people who they just can't be alone. And even if it means that they're on the receiving end or giving end of garbage treatment, as long as they're not alone, they're okay. They're called masochists. They thrive off the pain. Now, in regards to the whole, getting back together because of sex and other weak foundation attributes, again, it goes back to how the person feels about themselves. Because my whole thing is when it comes right down to it, when you find ultimate peace in someone's absence, you need to keep that. If you really want peace and the increase and maintaining of the little bit of sanity you got left. If you allow that toxic person to come back into your life to either bring you the toxicity or accentuate the toxicity, as I always say, that's also a choice, but then you have no one else to blame when you accept that return. The return that you should have prevented in the first place, no matter who broke up with who. So it's all about how you value your peace, how you value growth, and how important the notion of treating people the way you want it to be treated is. All those are factors, and the thing about that is you have to decide the importance and relevance those factors and attributes are in your life, and that will help you make the uniform decision of if you should accept such a person back or not.
I have something to kind of add off to that. You're right. There are people out there who don't want peace. They want problems always. Right?
Always.
So that's definitely true. I would also say that when people are coming back to each other, it is fair. Some would say, well, if you forgave them, then you move on. I agree with that too. But I'll just say what's expected. Maybe not the words fair. What's expected is someone to know is to do a deep dive into the history that you have with that person before letting them back in. Because you already know what your prior experience is with that person. So then you judging off of a history as a template to see if this person has grown or matured since your separation. And that is, okay, we're back together. What's going to be different now? But I also believe that men and women who come back to each other should have somewhat of a blueprint of how they're going to be with each other from this point on. Otherwise, what's the point? There has to be some type of plan. There has to be an end game, an end goal or something is what I really mean. Or you could say end game, whatever. And I don't think people do that. I think people just say, all right, let's try again and see how this goes. No. You don't do it that way. Not let's see how it goes. You say, no, this is how it could go if you want to get back with me. You know, when we start relationships with people, we have all these rules, criterias, and preferences, right? But it seems like when people get back with each other, they throw that out the window. No, you have to re-vet again. You do. And it's not always picking up where you left off. For some people, it is picking up from the beginning, starting all over again.
Right.
Because if people were in a relationship for 3 years, broken up for 5 years, and they get back with each other, oh no, that's a whole nother different person. And even what you were attracted to about that person back then, you may not be attracted to that now. I'm not just talking about physical. I'm talking about some of the tolerance, the level of tolerance that you may have had back then, what you put up with then, you're not going to put up with it now.
Right.
Whatever you thought was cute back then and excusable because of due to age and immaturity, it's not going to be your measuring stick when now you get back with that person. So yes, I do believe that someone, when they're getting back with each other, should do a fair assessment and to dig back into a history, just like a doctor does when they make a diagnosis, but they also want to know the history. You know what I'm saying? Does high blood pressure and diabetes run in your family? Here's my diagnosis. Boom. In a relationship, you were argumentative. You weren't cooperative. That's your history with me and you. Are you that now? That person could say, "Oh, I've changed," but you don't know until it happens for real when you get back in the mix with that person. But I do believe that there should be a more executed plan when getting with someone. I'm not saying an ultimatum, but there should be something of a template that we should go off of if we want this second time around or a third time around, if this is going to be successful. Zacchaeus, I kind of want to get your take on that. Okay. Is it based off what I said? When a person is trying to get back with someone, should they not hold it against them, but should they always acknowledge and remember their history with that person from the past and then see how it compares to how they are in the present? What do you think?
Oh, yeah, sure. Because remember, a lot of things change in a year. A lot of things change in 5 years. You're not the same person.
Right.
It's either you reinvent yourself to evolve into something better, or you stay the same.
Or you regressed. Yeah.
Or you regress, or you stay the same level.
Or you stay the same. Yeah.
So if you want to get back with a person, you gotta map it out, see how it is. And because remember, a lot of things change within a year. Some things change within 2 years. A person can have kids like in between the years that you've been apart from each other, especially women.
That's a fact.
Yeah, women could be like, well, I have a child now. And now you got to think that, well, you're not with the baby father no more, but you want to work, but you want to get back with me.
Dang.
And you're a person that you've been doing just fine. And now you want to get back with me. A lot of things change sometimes change within months. And let's say, okay, no kids are involved, but you're thinking about getting back with that person. But this person, sometimes they don't want to change. Sometimes people are set in their ways, they don't want to change. And you got to say to yourself, can I go back to this? It's up to you. If you value yourself, if you value your peace, if you value your self-worth, it's up to you. If you want to, some people are not willing to compromise. I heard some women say this, Ray and Fifth. I heard some women say this. This is me, take it or leave it. This is how I am. I'm not willing to change for you. Even if you broke up with them and you're thinking about, and she's thinking about getting back with you, she'll tell you straight up, this is how I am. Now the choice is yours and it's up to you if you want to work something out with somebody like that. Now, it's up to you. Because the thing is that, like I said before, some people, they just want to stay the way they are. They're not willing to reinvent themselves. They're not willing to elevate themselves or grow mentally, spiritually. They're not willing to do that. They're just, she'll tell you this. Yeah, I go to church, but this is just the way I am. How you praising God and be like, hallelujah, hallelujah. And you ain't changing. You ain't not reinventing yourself. You're not growing spiritually. You're just staying the same old G, like what what's it the singer talk about? Genuine talk about it. Same old G. Not changing nothing, just the same. But yet she's thinking about working things out with you. You know why she's thinking about? And some people do this.
Mm-hmm.
Some people really, like what Ray said, some people cannot stay alone for so long. So when you break up with them, they feel that something is missing. Mm. They feel uncomfortable being alone. So what they do is they call you up. Although you broke up with them months ago and now you feel at peace now, they call you up. They try to say, oh, let's work things out. They pretend to be nice and good and everything and want to work things out. And then when you really they're not willing to do no blueprint with you. They're just the same. They just want to see, they want to see if you're going to take them back. They want to see if you're going to bring them back into your life. And that's what they want.
All right. So, hey, Ray. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I want to, wow. So I have to now ask Ray of this. Ray, hearing everything that you heard Zacchaeus say, about, and even going back to your point, because you said some people don't want to be alone. I've heard that a lot.
Men and women. I thought it was women, but men and women.
Right, yeah. men too. Men just voice it. Men voice it differently, but women definitely have voiced it a certain way. Men have a certain way. It's all in different languages between the two. But Ray, are we doing a good enough job as observers in the dating life to know that a lot of the stuff and this toxicity that people have with each other is mental health related?
I think we're in denial. Yeah. I think that behind the scenes, we know that it's either that or it has something to do with that. But when it comes to the forefront, a lot of times we're in denial. Mm-hmm. Because especially in our community, we can't stop saying this word, but it is what it is. We grew up with certain disciplines, certain toxic behaviors that we grew up thinking is the norm. Whereas you see other people, either in our race or in other races, handle things differently. It's very rare, especially growing up at the time that me and Zacchaeus grew up, that you have a mostly Black household that knows how to solve things like the Brady Bunch and like other families that happen to be Caucasian. No, it's always this bickering and fight, so this does get transferred into, a relationship. And the thing is, nobody stops to think about the fact that it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
It's not, and for it to be a generational thing, it had to start with the thought first. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, people are afraid to accept that this might be an actual problem, especially those of us who are woke, who are evolved, and want to continue growing. We know that that's a problem. And yes, that is from a mental perspective. Because in order for something to manifest, whether it's positive or negative, it starts in the mind. So what we need to do is make an assessment of ourselves, our background, our history, and do the best we can to correct certain behaviors, although we will never, ever achieve perfection. But we need to stop using the fact that we'll never achieve perfection as an excuse to perpetrate our crap to others or to tolerate crap from others. So yeah, it starts with the mind.
Yes.
I got some more, Ray. I'm gonna throw it back to you. I feel that trauma bonding, especially in the Black diaspora, I'll keep it with the whole entire Black diaspora. Depending on the struggles and the things that we receive, going to the it is what it is, which is basically accepting something that probably shouldn't be accepted, but we just accept it for what it is because maybe someone had taught us that in generations ago. And all that does is just ignore things and hide it under the carpet, but then it comes out of the carpet when something happens, right? So I think a lot of times people in relationships, because they've bond on a particular trauma, and we've never got healed for that trauma. And then we think getting together is going to heal that trauma. You know what really ends up happening? We take it out on each other. And I think that's what also goes into the male and female gender divide that we're not discussing. We're talking all about paying bills and all that. No, it's deeper than that. And that's why I brought up the mental health, because I think a lot of people have not been evaluated, have not gotten therapy. There are many things that they haven't done mentally, and this is why someone can't leave you alone when you depart, because there's something going on up here in the mind. So what would be your advice to people before they get in a relationship, not just in a relationship with the ex, but just in a relationship in general? On that context, yeah.
Personally,
yeah,
I would say I would advise you examine self.
Yep.
You first examine self on your own time.
Yep.
Deciding what you will accept, what you won't accept, what you will tolerate, and what you won't. And here's what I mean by that. I always live by, one of the things I live by, Fifth, is that I will not tolerate or accept any nonsense I myself don't give or perpetrate. If you really mean that, and if you really stand by that, then you will understand that even though we have flaws, there are just certain things that you have to be sure of yourself that you will not accept or give that will contribute to the detriment of something positive, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, whether it's even work related, because all of that, it really does start in the mind. So I would say vet yourself first, so that when you do vet other people, you'll see what level of toxicity the other person has, or you may actually find out the level of toxicity you yourself may have and didn't realize existed. So that's why I say vet self first to the best of your ability before you go out and spread yourself or incorporate someone else. Because listen, as I said before, we will never achieve perfection. We never will. But we can always achieve mutual betterment, and that starts with self-betterment.
I agree with that. I also believe that Most people don't see who they are until they get with someone. And then whatever happens in the relationship that you're challenged with, whatever your knee-jerk reaction is what you really are in here. Because it took that to bring that out. Because we always, as a people, present the best parts of ourselves before getting into a relationship. That's how we use to sell ourselves in promotion. And promoting ourselves to be marketable in that relationship. And I think that's the thing that in vetting needs to be widely evaluated and paid attention to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Zacchaeus, let me go ahead and drop the bomb.
Yeah. but if I may add to something, Fifth, to what you just said, I'll be real short. It's just that, sometimes, it doesn't take long for, the representative to disappear, because I know what it's like being in a relationship where the very third day of our relationship, we had our first fight. So it's like, so some people can't contain that for long. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And may I make an educated guess to why it happened? Because usually when you're getting what you want, it smiles. But when it's that first thing that someone said no to you on, or you didn't get what you want, it's, oh, how dare you?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I figured that.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Because that's usually when that happens. Zacchaeus.
Yeah, man.
I know you have an opinion on that, because through our conversations, I remember you saying when you tell them no, that's when the true person comes out. Staying within the context of getting back with someone. If you were in a relationship with someone, I'm sure there were no's then.
Yeah.
So they will reappear when going back to that person. Speak on that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. There have some people that feel entitled even when you're with them. They just feel that you should cater to them. And when they make decisions, this is a kicker. When they make decisions, they don't communicate with you. They don't. This is how arguments start in relationships. When you're in a relationship with somebody and that person is making decisions without talking to you about it, or they're going behind your back, and then you find out, like, wow, I didn't know that you involved in this. And this is where, because you didn't evaluate yourself, and you're used to getting what you, and for some apparent reason, you feel entitled, and you're used to, maybe your parents probably years ago give you what you want at all times. And some people feel entitled. So when you make decisions, you don't incorporate your partner. You just do it. And you just go in the spirit of the moment on just making this, you just do it. Right. And this is all the disagreements start, because you want that person that you're with to cater to you. So when a man says, I don't think we're going to be going to that state to live, and then you say, well, I already made my plans already. We're going. This is where the separation between you and your mate comes in, because throughout my years of growing up, I've seen that over and over and over again. Oh, not going to call their names. I'm going to move to Georgia. Didn't even include her husband. She's used to not being told no.
Oh.
No. But I'm going there. We didn't discuss this. Well, if he wants to come, he can come along, but I'm going. There's women like that. I've seen met women hear stories like that. I'm going. She made the decision to go. Didn't discuss it with you. She just went. And because she's used to getting what she wants and things got to go her way, if they don't go her way, it's the highway. Forget later for you. And this is how some people move even in their own relationships. And this is why some people get divorced too. Because it's like, you just want to do what you want to do. They have this narcissistic behavior that the world got to cater to them. Even everybody around them got to, if they don't get what they want, there's a tantrum. And they just do it anyway. And it's like, did you really just got up and left without even discussing it with the person that you're married with, or the person that you're even dating? And now all of a sudden, now that we've broken up now, she wants to get back. She ain't changing. She's not changing. She ain't changing, but she wants to get back because, face it. Now, may I remind you, this person has kids. You got kids, and when you're married or when you're with somebody for a long time, it's gonna happen. She's young, she's gonna have kids with you, or she might have kids with you. And it's getting so deep. She grabbed the kids and she left with the kids. Now this is getting deep. Now, let's say if no kids was included. Now you have to ask yourself. You see, it's the little things that we ignore that turns on and bite us, because you have to ask yourself, it's like, well, it's the little things, because it don't just go big like that. It starts small, right? It starts very small. So you got to ask yourself, can I continue this life journey with her? She does things, if she don't get what she wants, it becomes a problem. It becomes a blowout argument. It becomes like but I always got to be the one to bend, not her. There's people, Ray, we're old. Fifth, there's people like that. And you're going to meet people like that because you're going to meet women like that. If you start dating, these are the little things that you can't ignore. And sometimes we ignore these little things. These are the things that people have, and they ignore these little things. And it's like, when you can find somebody that can work with you, that can truly work with you, it's like what the Bible said. It's a charm. She's worth more than jewels. But they got some people that, this is why they're single. This is why you see some very beautiful women. They're still single. Nobody's dating her. Nobody's knocking down her door. She's beautiful, but nobody's knocking down the door because she wants people to bend to her. She wants you to cater to her and bend to her. I'm going this way. I'm doing that. That's it. That's what I'm doing. Without even discussing it with you. And you got to ask yourself, could you be with this person? Can you see yourself going back to somebody like that? And if you want peace in your life, the answer would be no.
I have a question, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And Ray, you can answer first. Would you buy back a car that you traded in?
No.
Zacchaeus?
Hell no. You know why I say hell no? Because listen, I already traded in that car. Why do I need to go back to that car again? No. Hell no.
I mean, it's a good looking car, right?
Yeah.
When you had it, you traded it in because things didn't work out. It had no value or operation to it like it once did.
Yeah.
But then the car salesman says, "Hey, remember that 92 Honda Civic you sold to us 5 years ago? It's still sitting on the lot."
Yeah.
Since then, it's had 2 more drivers, And it has more miles on it. And then you ask how much more? Oh, about 50,000 more miles.
Right.
I beg your
50,000 more miles.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I beg your pardon.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is the kind of thing. I'm not saying in all situations to be nice to some of those out there, but I don't think that's something you should do. You know? Right. I want to go to your metaphor. Well, I want to make it a metaphor. You said there's a lot of Zacchaeus. You said there's a lot of pretty women out here, and they're still single.
Yeah.
What's your favorite exotic car?
Shoot.
Or just name one of them.
Oh, okay.
Name an exotic.
Exotic. Okay, I would say
it could be a Lambo, Ferrari, whatever, Rolls Royce, whatever.
I like a Lambo.
Okay. Yeah. So imagine you've worked really hard.
Yeah.
To finally get the money for this Lamborghini. Yeah. It took blood, sweat, tears, and years to get this Lamborghini. And then you go to the dealership where they sell Lamborghinis, which they're custom ordered anyway, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
And then he goes, listen, the car's good. He gives you the paperwork. He wants you to sign it because it looked good.
Right.
You didn't test drive. You didn't even look at the interior.
Yeah. It's true.
You sign the paperwork. He hands you the keys.
Yes.
You turn the car on. Yeah. You hear yit, and you're like, wait a minute, Lambo don't sound like this, right? Then you say, well, let me go to let me pop the hood, and you know, Lamborghinis, their hood is in the back, right?
Yeah.
You open the hood, Zacchaeus, there's no engine inside.
Oh Lord, it looks good, but it can't run. Oh boy,
that's what you were talking about without saying it. That's why you got some of these pretty women out here by themselves. Yeah. I mean, the ones that don't want to be by themselves. I mean, the ones that want to be by themselves, I'm not going to call them a Lamborghini with no engine. That's your choice. Yeah. But the ones that don't want to be by themselves, this is why we can't just go by looks alone. You know? I brought that up to relate that to the ex situation. Back to the ex. You have people who will say, and I'm glad we got to this point. You have a traumatic breakup, and they hit you with the I could do bad all by myself. Yeah, you got that right. You can do bad all by yourself. Yeah. And then it's that mentality, that entitlement that you were talking about earlier to a different thing, that I could do better than you. Yes. And then you say, okay, we'll go out and do better. Then they go out and they don't do better. They actually do worse. You know why? Because they were saying it was you when it was them. They get with someone and that person realizes how messed up these people are. They still don't get the message to change themselves. But then they want to get back with that ex who had that high tolerance level. You know why? Because what they will do is say, you know what? My ex put up with this.
Yes.
My ex let me do what I want to do. My ex was okay with how I talked to them.
Yes.
And then they think that lifeline is still there for them. Ray, what's your advice to someone who has that done to them when that person tries to leave them? What's your advice?
When you say that, repeat yourself again. Have what done to them specifically? Fifth.
Okay, a breakup where someone has this mentality of I could do better than you. That same girlfriend or boyfriend, right? Mm-hmm. And then they come back after they ripped you apart when they broke up with you, and saying, "Oh no, I'm different now. I'm a changed person." How should the person on the receiving end? What's your advice to them?
Not walk, run. Because you see, the whole thing is, it's like, you know, as Zacchaeus pointed out earlier, there were reasons why certain people are exes. And And no, there are reasons why certain people are exes, or why you kick someone out your life, or why you leave, and why you abandon them. Yeah. And if you're not a masochist and such a delusionally entitled person wants to come into your life because of how you used to tolerate their crap when you didn't know better and you're naive, you can do one or two things. You can either run, or if you do have breath to waste or time to waste, you can retrain them, waste your breath yelling at them and making them obey you. But no, I'd rather not. I'd rather run. That's just me.
Yeah.
No, save your breath, save your energy.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah. I'm gonna stay with Ray on this next one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it back to you, Zacchaeus. No, that's true.
Run.
There are people who do that, right? They habitually take back people knowing that they was wrong for them. Would you say for the person on the receiving end, that is a self-esteem issue?
Who are you throwing that to?
You, Ray.
Yes, definitely. Because it goes back to you're fearing to be alone. You fearing to start over from scratch, to start fresh. So you're willing to accept or tolerate the return of toxic behavior, whether you perpetrate it or not, out of that fear. And when your whole happiness and life is based on another human being, then you will accept and tolerate every toxic thing. Forgive me. Yeah, you will. So in the example you described, it has to do with a self-esteem issue, because when you know your self-worth, and when you value yourself, especially if you value peace, which not many people do, and I can't stress that enough. When you value peace, you won't mind being alone, because the thing is, why would you be in a situation where you would feel lonely or attacked in a toxic way, when you can go through all that mess without being in a relationship or marriage that has all this chaos? So it's a self-esteem issue, and that needs to be worked on. Needs to be worked on continually, because the thing is, the only way we will ultimately and fully arrive is if we make it to see our Creator's face. As long as we are on earth, there is always better that we can achieve.
That's right.
So it's up to you. It's up to you if your self-worth is, I can't say it enough, if your self-worth is based on another human being, you're going to accept the toxicity and everything, because if your self-worth is based on peace, you won't mind being by yourself, because you will only desire to attract people who have a similar mindset of peace and the biblical golden rule, the benchmarks to any reduced toxic relationship or marriage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Zacchaeus, let me hand it to you. I'm gonna pull up a clip that I want Ray to look at on our topic. But go ahead, Zacchaeus.
Yeah.
Same question. What's your advice for somebody who accepts on the receiving end? Would you see that that's a lacking self-worth and a self-esteem issue?
It is, because people, there's people that I've seen it, and I've talked to people like that. They just have to have somebody in their life. It's like matter of life or death. There's like there's women like this, a lot of women like that, and there's some men like that. There's a guy that I know, not gonna call a name, that married several times, in his 40s, married several times. And he said, listen, I have to have a woman to squeeze. he was 2 months, 3 months with nobody in his life. You know what he did, Ray? Because he had nobody in his life. You know what he did? He closed the door and shut the lights off, sitting in the dark, saying that he is depressed. I said, why are you depressed? You know what he told me? You know what he told me? I don't have nobody to squeeze. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. Calling me right now. I'm at work. You're calling me right. You have nobody. You have no girl, right? He said, listen, I'm used to being with a woman. I don't know what to do with myself. I can't keep squeezing myself. So I have no woman to squeeze. I said, brother.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You got problems because you're gonna sit in the dark and play with yourself because you got nobody. There's women like that and there's men like that.
Hey, brother.
Yo.
That brother need help, man.
Zacchaeus, I have a question.
Yeah.
Was he young when he did this, or was this recent?
Oh, he's in his 40s. This is recent. He's like 47.
Damn. I had hope for him, man.
I did too.
Because I understand, expressing yourself that way when you don't know better, when you're in the process of evolving, and when you're still growing. But this way in life, you still doing this garbage? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, there's women like that too. There's a lot of women. Believe it or not, there's a lot of women like that. They just hate being alone. They just it's like they get depressed. They fall into a deep depression because they have nobody to hold on to. They have nobody to argue with. There's women talking like this. I need somebody to talk to. I need somebody to, and they put the word argument. I need somebody to argue with. I need somebody to fight with. I need somebody to have conflict with. I need him to bust me like this West Indian style coming out. I need a man to bust me in my jaw corner. Yeah.
That sounds like an ex of mine. Let me stop.
This is what she said. That's what she said. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's serious.
Yo, that's crazy.
So when she said that, I was like, she's with somebody, but the guy's no good for her. But you know what she says? Yes, I tolerate him. He's rough with me, but you know what? At least I'm not alone. And there's people like Ray. They're not they're not on that level. They're not on that, like I could be alone peace level. There's more people like that than people that be on the peace mission, the peace road. Then there's more people that need somebody in their life, no matter how toxic they are. They need people in their life more than, and there's people that's married to somebody like that. There's marriages like that. There's a man, I don't want to call his name, but he's celebrating, I think he was celebrating over 20 years. But you know what, Fifth? Real, no lie, true story. Wife is telling me about him. I don't know the guy, but she knows the guy. Wife cheats on him in front of his face.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
You know what she did? You know what she does? You know what she does? They were going on a cruise, right? Right? They're trying to celebrate their 20-something years of marriage. She said, okay, no, you can go in a separate room. She had her boyfriend in the room on the cruise while he's in another cabin.
Sir.
Now may I remind you?
Hold on,
yeah.
sir. Mm-hmm. Does this man, from a provider standpoint, this husband, Does he take care of her, maintain her living and stuff like that?
But yes, he's well off. He's well off. He actually makes way more than he actually makes way more than she does. He actually makes way more than she does.
I beg your pardon.
Their kid is grown already. The kids are out the house.
I beg your pardon.
They're grown kids. The kids are out the house already. But guess what?
And he puts up with that.
Yeah, and on top of that, she was like, "Where's my clothes?" Her boyfriend is wearing the clothes too, as well. His clothes.
No, you didn't just say that.
Yeah. But you know what he said? We're celebrating our anniversary. Telling my wife we're celebrating our anniversary. He's afraid to be alone. He don't know what he'll do if he's alone. And Ray, you think my 47-year-old friend this man is 50 plus years.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
56 years to be exact. Yeah. And
he waved the white flag. He waved the white flag and he surrendered basically, Zach.
And then telling me that God is, I think was telling my wife and telling other people, God is good. God is good and
God ain't
praise the Lord and God is good and I go to church. God is good and praise the Lord, and that's my wife. That's how she is.
There's one thing that I will react to is how despicable it is when people bring God to their mess. God's not blessed. It's nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty stupid, despicable, ignorant statement to make. No. And I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God ain't got nothing to do with that.
God ain't got nothing to do with it.
And it's stupid because the thing is, you think.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. It's just that, you know, it disgusts me when people have a tendency to use our Lord's name as a vindicator, as a loophole, and as a scapegoat for a mess he has nothing to do with, that he didn't create. You people are stupid if you do that.
Yeah.
But then, Ray, they also double speak, right? Because when it doesn't benefit them, it's God is good. When they use it to vindicate certain things, it's God is good. So they double talk out the same mouth when they say that. Because some will say, oh, what happened there was a warning sign and I got away from that. God is good. Yeah, we'll clap to that. But then when you talk about accepting one of the highest levels of disrespect, just for the sake of you being married, and then you say God is good because of that. Oh no, if anything, God is anti what Zacchaeus was talking about in that marriage.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, yes. I mean, people have gotten stoned for that kind of stuff back in the day, man.
Yeah. Blasphemy. Yeah.
I got something I want to play for Ray. Zacchaeus, me and you did a show. We did an episode last season, and I think the name of it was called Starting Over. Right. But it's in this subject. It was a woman on divorce court. I want you to hear the words this woman said, Ray. I need your take on this.
Let me tell you something, Miss Thompson. You, this case here.
But it's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years. Is you're not losing the whole 5 years. You're gaining the next 5 years. You are gaining the
But I want to have them with him over again so much.
Right.
Right, what? You agree?
Yes, I want to be with you, but...
Then you know what? No, you know what? Around, you either marry me or you reimburse me. It's that simple. I have the ring already. All you got to do is get on your knees and propose.
Your Honor, she is not going to rob me of my manhood and demand that I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to get a ring. I'm going to propose to her when the time is right.
Take this one.
I have not even got to build a relationship with her family.
In case no one else has figured this out, y'all are not compatible. You are living in a fantasy world, baby. In a fantasy world.
Your Honor,
this is not your husband.
Your Honor, I spent so much time invested in him.
Your boyfriend.
It's not fair.
It may not be fair, but it's true. Baby, he is not your husband.
Please.
And you are not going to sit here on this room with me and cry over somebody that does not deserve your tears. Absolutely not.
Are you saying you don't want me?
I do want to marry you. Your Honor, I have one more thing to say, and I did not want to bring this up. But I went through her phone.
Don't they all?
Yeah.
And I saw her having a conversation with somebody, and I found out she's been lying to me. And she has her tubes tied.
Oh.
I'm going to stop it right there. Ray, did you hear all that?
My goodness.
Ray, before I get to the beginning of that, he said, I went through her phone. Judge Star Jones automatically said, don't they all? Because she was ready to chew that man up until he said, yeah, she was having a conversation about her and lied to me about having children when her tubes were tied. Star Jones' reaction shifted back to the woman. But you notice how she was ready to side with the woman when it came to the phone thing until she saw that.
Mm-hmm.
That sister code is something else.
Yes, it is.
But Ray, I played that for a reason. We just got done talking about that right there. That right there. There are many people that are in these type of relationships right now today. She said, you either marry me or you reimburse me. She said 5 years. I don't want to start over. Because I want the 5 years with him. I already invested time. Not that she genuinely wants to be with him, but that she just don't want to start all over. You know why? Because that woman right there is not grown. She is not shown any type of development. She is still the same person. And he, even right there, had grace for that woman while he was talking. He still had grace. Because he still said that he wanted to be with her. But it just shows you how disingenuous that she was. She wanted to be back with him because she knows that he's the one that will accept her. And the reason why she says she doesn't want to start over, because she knows that starting over means that she has to do a self-work and that she's got to point the mirror towards herself and do the necessary work. And that is too much to stomach. Ray, your response.
Well, no, it just has to do with laziness.
Yes.
Laziness, being afraid to do the work, and being afraid to evolve. When you are used to a certain dynamic, there's some people who don't want change, and the only change they want has to revolve around how their delusions. It has to revolve around their delusions. And as the fact that she was willing to have him use the ring that's already on her finger to propose, that's pathetic. That's pathetic. She gets no sympathy. The heck, man. Because that's an emotional basket case that's showing the lack of self-worth she has. Because if she believed in herself that she was worthy of things going the certain traditional right way, she wouldn't have put on this desperate performance showing how much she needs him, because she's afraid to start over. She's afraid to start over because no one else will tolerate what she's giving, what she's bringing to the table, which is a load of crap. So the thing is, that's why I talked to earlier about before you go out and vet others, you have to vet yourself. And there's a saying, to thine own self be true. And she's showing who she is, and it's definitely not positive. Now, the thing about Star Jones, as you said, Fifth, had he not said the thing about the tubes being tied, she would have taken the woman's side. You have to understand. If you have to understand the analogy or correlation I'm about to give. As Black men, we always have to prove ourselves, especially when it comes to the workforce, when it comes to dealing with our Caucasian counterparts. We have to work twice as hard just to get the same recognition and treatment that the Caucasian counterpart, all he has to do is exist. The same goes in the court of public opinion, or in the actual court, where a woman don't have to prove herself. She has to prove herself how messed up she is in the head. That's the work she has to prove. Whereas us men, we have to go the extra mile and prove that we deserve a fair shake. We have to work probably 5 times as hard to get our fair shake, where a woman has to, all she does is exist, and she's already given the fair shake.
And sometimes
you're right. That's not fair.
And sometimes we don't even get the fair shake.
That's right. We don't. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, and many of us men have accepted that and going on. Even with that said, we've accepted that, took our cuts and bruises and kept it moving. Even with that reality.
Yeah.
Zacchaeus, we did a show about this, but if you have a new opinion about that clip relating to this topic, by all means, go ahead.
No, what Ray is saying is the truth. Because she just put on an emotional roller. She was an emotional roller coaster right there.
Yeah, there was a bunch of alligator tears in there too.
Alligator tears in there too. Yeah. And it's a fact. That's a fact. Some
face
people,
was
like
very dry.
I said this before earlier. Some people don't want to change, and she knows if she's left alone, that this brother might take her back and might tolerate her, might just tolerate her, but others, no. And some people, it's just they don't want to put in any work to change or nothing like that. That's a fact. That's a fact. So nothing has changed. I'm just keeping with that opinion. It's the truth. And what she is, and the performance she put on there, it's a fact. I mean,
she might be a bit of a sociopath.
Could be, yeah, but and she wants a brother to. I think I seen that episode. That brother I don't think he was working. I think he was unemployed at the time.
They both were a hot mess, but
yeah,
the context of that episode was everything was pointed at him being the problem.
Yes.
Until Star started talking to him more, and she's like, "Wow, you really messed up."
Right.
So don't you going at him, but you got your own problems. And the fact that clip that I pointed out, I had to go to the very end of the show.
Yeah.
Divorce Court is a 30-minute episode.
Yes.
It took to the end of the show for him to reveal that news that this whole time she had been lying to him about having children when her tubes were tied the whole time. Yeah. And he was, trying to have a baby with this woman, and she physically can't have one. And he never knew.
That's what I said. The lack of communication.
But the tone of the episode was that he was the problem.
Yeah, he was a problem. Yeah.
How about that?
So in other words, it was already designed that he's gonna be the problem. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and most of cases like that, and Ray is right. Most cases is like that, where most of the time is that we're at fault. We're the ones to blame. We're the ones that get beaten up on, everything, just thrown at us. So
it's like
when he was,
it's
so
it's
when
like
brother,
it's like yeah.
Oh yeah, when a brother reveals things about somebody instead of the truth and reveals things about somebody, all of a sudden now, oh no, where's he coming with all these allegations? Oh, he's wrong. Oh no. So it was like all of a sudden now, if I come up with all this truth and see, and he was right. You're supposed to tell how you be in somebody relationship and don't tell them that your ties are two. Your tubes are tied. She was an older woman than him, and she all of a sudden now that secret was let out in the public, and she kept that from him the whole time. Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the episode standpoint, but I brought that up as an example.
Yeah.
To the toxic situations that people are currently in to this day, and what is to challenge them in the future. I'm pretty sure someone has had in the world someone texting them, "Hey, big head," when not knowing that they have an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know people in that. We're gonna have to end the show. Man, time went by fast.
It did.
This was a good episode. Matter of fact, hey Ray, you okay with doing another 15 minutes? I actually want to do another 50. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right. We'll go another 15. Here's the thing. So I think what happens often is, like we talked about, how the mental health part is ignored. That's came from something, right? Because I talked about people who trauma bond and get together. A lot of people come from a particular trauma, right? And then that trauma gets triggered in a relationship. So someone who's been cheated on in the past by ex-boyfriend getting with somebody new, or ex-girlfriend, right? Because, men have done this with women too. And then they now want to get with this person, right? But then they project some of the stuff of their past on the new person. Oh yeah. Now still sticking with the ex. I had to bring this up to make an example. Someone gets back with their ex. Their ex cheated on them, or whatever, or assaulted them, whatever. It could be whatever, right? And then they get back with them. They're taking a risk, I would say. But that's under the discretion of the people who are trying to get back with each other, or the person accepting. What would you say to someone who sincerely, genuinely wants to get back with someone, but because of something that happened in the past that was pretty bad, like the examples I mentioned, doesn't have to be the exact example, that I mentioned when you answered this question, Ray. But what should someone do? What should someone mentally process when someone genuinely wants to get back with each other with a shaky history?
Okay, well, the thing is, you have to spend time with the person, see what they're about, see how they react to different situations. It's basically like doing the whole vetting and dating and courting process all over again. All over again. Because the thing is, you're talking about an ex in this case. And you have to see if the changes are, you'll never know if the changes are permanent. You can only do the best you can to see if there's consistency. If the consistency is positive as far as the evolving and the growth, all right, then maybe there's a chance. But if you see traces of what made that person your ex, if you see traces of that in full effect, then you have to make the uniform decision. It's up to you if you want to be in harmony or if you want to be tolerant. You choose.
You know who's an example of that? Although Zacchaeus brought them up last week, and with the subject of the show, I said we're not going to mention them, but on this subject, I can. Will and Jada. Zacchaeus, now it's your time to respond to that.
Oh my! The what's it called? The entanglement. The entanglement couple. The couple that basically they have I think they have an open marriage, something like that. And Will and Jada, they said that they said they're gonna stay married, although they're gonna stay in a bad marriage, but they're gonna stay married. That's what they said.
They said they said
bad marriage for life.
We die together.
Oh yeah,
bad marriage for life.
Bad marriage for life. That's what they said.
Which is absolutely disgusting and toxic to the highest degree.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Zacchaeus.
So I don't know what it is. It's like Jada got a spell on Will. I don't know, and it's just Will mentally was beaten up because of the entanglement, and I seen it in his face. I seen that hurt in his face, and I felt sorry for Will. At that moment, at that time, I was like, man, wow. For him to take that, I could tell he wanted to break down and cry.
What's your advice for the Will and Jadas of this world?
If you gotta stay in a bad marriage for life, it's not worth it. Why not stay single? Why not, like what you said, mentally grow, like this spiritually grow, get close to God, this spiritually grow. Try to have a self-healing, pray, go to counseling, ask God for guidance. Why? Because to be in a marriage and there's no direction in the marriage. Because what I see in Will and Jada marriage is like they have it's like no concrete direction.
There's no destination. They're just driving.
There's no destination. Just doing whatever. And before you get into it, it's a lot of confusion in that marriage. I see there's a lot of confusion, a whole lot of confusion. It's not like I used to look years ago when I heard of Jada, two black couples out of Hollywood getting married, and it was Will and Jada. Years ago, we used to look up to them and like, wow, they doing their thing. They're married. They're like a super couple. You want to be like Will and Jada. They're like, but as you get into the inside of their marriage, it's more like it's so toxic and so confusion. It's a massive confusion in every direction. And you're like, so if you Will and Jada, if you in that kind of marriage or in that kind of relationship, I would say for yourself to get out, because listen, not only have to deal with it breaks it down mentally, it breaks it down mentally, but it also drains you. You ever had that? Like somebody just drains you? It just drains you. You don't know what Jada gonna come up with because it just drains you like every ounce. Like I knew when Will was getting had that red table, sitting down with the red table with Jada, and she mentioned that she had an entanglement with with dude. She had an entanglement with him. I could tell that Will was drained. Ray, can you see it in his face?
Yeah.
Will was was not only physically drained, but he was mentally drained. And I could tell it was just he had enough. And he stayed with Jada. He stayed until a spell came over him and he did what he did to Chris Rock.
Yeah, smacked the
That was you know what? That was a spirit. Yeah. That was a wicked spirit that came over Will, because something jumped off of Jada and that spirit came into Will. It was weird. I've never seen a demonic spirit like that before. It just came on to him and he went up and did what he did. That was a spirit. That was a wicked spirit. But that's what happens when you stay in a relationship with somebody that is not they're not helping you spiritually grow. That's when you stay in a toxic relationship. It just takes you out of character. Like Kanye West. He's totally out of character. Look at him. The man took this whole gorilla and put some kind of grill in his mouth. He's totally mentally just destroyed. Totally mentally destroyed. So when you in a toxic environment, toxic relationship, it just destroys you in every way. Possibly. You're messed up. Your decision making is off. People see it. Maybe you don't see it, but people on the outside, your loved ones, see it. People see it. And that's what it is. So if you can get out of that relationship and just self-evaluate, self-evaluate yourself and pray and ask God to guide you, then you're stuck in that relationship. It will just destroy you mentally. And that's that's my answer for them. So get out. My answer to them is to get out.
Yeah,
like the movie Get Out, like the movie Get Out with the actor.
yeah. I would say, and we had to use celebrities' names for the sake of the audience because that's a public relationship, right?
Yeah.
Also, we have Jay-Z and Beyonce situation.
Okay.
They never got a divorce, and he admitted his affairs.
Okay, yeah.
He did it on the 444 album, right?
Mm.
And then she talked about what her response was on the Lemonade album, on how she handled that,
Wow.
But they stayed together. Not to go further in their detail, but let's talk about something that's new. Only time will tell with this one. I never thought I'd see the day because this brother years ago said that he would never get married. Nelly and Ashanti got back together.
Yeah.
They were apart for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
She's having a baby, and he allegedly proposed.
Yeah.
There are people in those situations.
Yeah.
So I'll give my 2 cents here. I said earlier on the show that there has to be some type of plan. And there has to be a level of growth that has happened between the two of you. And to quote Ray, no one's going to be perfect, but you should strive for perfection. Understood. But you have situations where this is what I want people to do. I'm not against those who get back with their past, but your past is a past for a reason. But if you're going to get with your past, you have to graduate that to a present. And the only way both people can do that is if they both have done the work. Both of them.
Yeah.
And I actually think you take more time this time than you did last time when you were vetting that person. And guess what? The two people are going to have to understand that level of patience because of their history.
Yeah.
And if it's something that the two of them want, they will be willing to have the patience and do the necessary work to make this work again and to not hold the past against each other to manipulate each other. We don't want that to happen because that will quickly kill it. But we want them to know the past, learn from it, and forgive and move on and have a new relationship. Same people, absolutely, but now you got to have a new relationship. This is how we're going to start from scratch. We're going to get to know each other again, right? And we're going to do this the right time, but we're going to have an actual plan. Like you said, Zacchaeus, they got to have a destination. We're going to end the show, but I'm going to give it to Ray. Ray, any final thoughts on everything that we talked about before we go?
Yeah, definitely. Referring back to the topic, wanting that old thing back. The whole thing is, I would advise getting something old back, especially if you are the evolving type, especially if you're the growing type and your growth is not stunted. Why would you want that old thing back? Why would you? Everything should be fresh and new on a daily basis and not routine. So even if you're going back to an ex who may have a reduced level of the toxicity that existed in your relationship, there has to be, as Zacchaeus said, there has to be structure, a concrete structure, and a mutual plan going forward with the agreement of continuing to work on self. So, because I always believe that self-betterment will create mutual betterment. So if you want that old thing back, you shouldn't have broken up in the first place. But if you want something that's fresh and new and that is energized and has a great level of enthusiasm going forward, then you need to work on self. She needs to work on self so that when y'all get together and anything goes against y'all, y'all will be a unified front instead of it being one-sided, because that one-sidedness is going to bring about that heavy toxicity. So I would say, once again, to finalize, don't get that old thing back. Refresh, restart, go forward positively.
Zacchaeus, any last words?
Yeah. Wow, I love what Ray said. Yeah,
he's right. He's right.
Yeah, definitely. If you want God's blessing, you cannot hold on to the past. You can't hold on to all things that was toxic in your life. Mm-hmm. And if you keep looking at the rearview mirror and staying there, you cannot go forward. You cannot get the blessing that he's laid out for you. Why? Because you're holding on to the past. And if that person is coming back to you, sometimes it's the devil coming back to you. And there's a reason why you left in the first place. Think about and dissect. Take a moment and dissect the reason why you left. And if you go back, it could be to your own demise. If you go back, it's a going back that can destroy you. The going back that can just dismantle your peace. Is the going back that can make you lose everything you have. It's the going back that destroys people. So think about it. In order for you to close that chapter, you have to close that chapter in order for you to get a blessing. That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So that was another episode of Mrs. Z and Fifth. Shout outs to our brother Ray. Hey, let them know if you have any, things that you want them to reach you on, connect with you on.
Yeah, my whole government name is on Facebook, so you want to reach me there. I'm also on Instagram, Bannister Ray C. So get at me. Let's have the dialogue. Let's grow.
Yeah.
Shout outs to you, Ray.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Last time you was on an episode with a mask on. Now you ain't got no mask.
I'm free, man. I don't have much to hide anymore.
Right. This is blessed. It's a blessing. Yes.
Zacchaeus, let them know where they can reach you, man.
You can reach me on Zacchaeus Music on Instagram, on Wayne Backus Gospel on Instagram, also on Facebook. Wayne Backus 167 on Facebook. Also on TikTok, Wayne Zacchaeus Backus on TikTok as well. Yeah.
All right. Y'all can reach me at the Fifth General on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right. So this was another great episode of Mrs. C and Fifth. We'll see y'all next time. Peace, y'all.
Peace.